The night in New York is never silent. Between honking horns, lights, and crowds, there's an energy that seems never to run out. But when September arrives and baseball enters its final stretch, the city's vibration takes on a different tone, almost electric. It feels as though every pitch, every swing, every error committed inside Yankee Stadium is capable of moving the hearts of millions. It is this historical weight, this legendary stage, that makes New York a place where pressure never relents. And it is in this cauldron that a young man named Anthony Volpe struggles to survive, hoping to become what so many dreamed of: the new face of the most iconic franchise in world baseball. Volpe was born in New Jersey, grew up as a Yankees fan, and carried within himself the perfect narrative. The boy who would wear the pinstripes and revive the tradition of legendary shortstops who came through the franchise, from Phil Rizzuto to Derek Jeter. It was a fairy tale ready to be written, and when he received a chance to take the position in 2023, it seemed that the story was destined for success. But baseball, much like life, rarely follows a predictable script. Today, in 2025, reality is far less romantic. Volpe, now 24, faces one of the worst stretches of his short career, and doubts grow with every game. The numbers don't lie. He leads All-American League shortstops with 19 defensive errors this season. And defensively, an error is not just a detail. It's a mistake that can open the door for runs, shift the rhythm of a game, cost a victory in September, and eventually a playoff spot. The shortstop position allows no insecurity. It is the heart of the infield, the link between second and third base, the player who dictates the timing of many double plays. When the shortstop fails, the entire team feels it. And Volpe has failed more than anyone else in his role. At the plate, the situation is no less concerning. His batting average sits at .208, the worst of his career. For comparison, the league average hovers around .243, which highlights a gulf between what's expected of a Yankees starter and Volpe's reality. It's a number that weighs heavily, especially on a team with big dreams that can't afford to carry holes in its lineup. That's why, in recent months, we've seen a quiet but significant shift. Aaron Boone began giving more playing time to Jose Caballero, acquired at the trade deadline. Caballero is no phenomenon, but he brought defensive stability and proved more reliable in the moments when still playing at a high level. That transition was a clear, almost wordless message. The confidence in Volpe is no longer the same. And it is exactly in this fragile scenario that the name Bo Bichette emerges. If Volpe represents the dream not yet realized, Bichette is the embodiment of consolidated reality. At 27, the Toronto Blue Jays shortstop is enjoying the best year of his career. His batting average is .311, the highest he has ever recorded, and he leads all of Major League Baseball in hits with 181. As well as doubles with 44. Bichette isn't just consistent, he's dominant. He is a player capable of changing the course of games on his own, the offensive pillar that sustains a team contending at the top. And that is exactly what he's been doing in Toronto, helping the Blue Jays lead the American League East for games ahead of the Yankees, with their magic number to clinch the division title already down to 6. The last time Toronto won the division was in 2015, and today Bichette is one of the main reasons for putting the team back at that level. But what makes this story even more intriguing is the fact that Bichette is about to become a free agent for the first time in his career. The timing couldn't be better. He hits the mark at the peak of his game, with 2 All-Star selections, 3 top 20 finishes in MVP voting, and a season that reinforces his value at the highest level. For teams searching for a solid shortstop who also delivers elite offensive numbers, Bo Bichette has become the #1 target. And among the possible destinations, who shows up? The New York Yankees. It's no coincidence that journalists like Mark Feinsand, Keegan Matheson, and Allison Footer have begun publicly discussing this possibility. They know the Yankees are not fully convinced that Anthony Volpe is the long-term answer. They also know that Brian Cashman, the team's general manager, and Aaron Boone, the manager, will soon have to make a decision: continue investing in an unstable young player or pursue someone who has proven time and time again that he is reliable under pressure. The Yankees' fascination with Bichette is not limited to his skill set. There's also a strategic dimension to this move. Signing Bichette wouldn't just be a reinforcement. It would weaken a direct division rival. By removing the Blue Jays' most productive shortstop, the Yankees would not only strengthen themselves but also strike Toronto directly, shaking the foundation of their main competitor in the AL East. It's a double blow, almost surgical, that could completely shift the balance of power in the coming years. And if there's one thing the Yankees know how to do, it's use their financial power and historic appeal to lure big stars. Picture for a moment the Yankees lineup in 2026. Imagine an order featuring Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and Bo Bichette at its core. 3 elite hitters, each with their own weapons, ready to put constant pressure on any opposing rotation. For rival pitchers, it would be a nightmare. Dealing with Soto and Judge is already daunting. Adding Bichette to the equation would be almost unfair. That is a vision that makes fans dream and could push Cashman to make bold decisions. There are, of course, issues to resolve. The Yankees currently have Jazz Chisholm Jr. at second base and Ryan McMahon at third. Both are under contract for another year or 2, meaning Bichette would primarily come into play shortstop. But some analysts like Feinsand speculate that in future scenarios, he could be shifted to second or third if the infield needed to be reshuffled. Bichette's positional flexibility is another attractive trait, but the initial priority is clear. If the Yankees sign him, it will be a takeover spot that now belongs to Anthony Volpe. And here lies the delicate part. What to do with Volpe? The answer isn't simple. On the one hand, he is still young, inexpensive, and has room to grow. Players have rebounded after rough starts before. Derek Jeter, for example, also had stretches of instability, but found consistency and became a legend. On the other hand, modern baseball doesn't offer as much time to wait. In New York especially, fan and media patience is minimal. If Volpe doesn't deliver soon, he could become the target of relentless criticism, and that's not an easy environment to rebuild confidence. If Bichette does arrive in the Bronx, Volpe could end up relegated to a secondary role, perhaps as a utility player, rotating into defensive alignments or even becoming trade bait in future deals. And this is where the front office's dilemma lies. Insist on the project of a young player who hasn't delivered yet, or invest heavily in a proven star. The Yankees' recent history shows that when the chance to acquire a big name arises, they don't hesitate. Just remember when they landed Garrett Cole, or more recently, Juan Soto. Bichette fits that profile exactly, the piece that immediately elevates the team ceiling. And the comparison between Volpe and Bichette is a harsh one. Volpe at this moment resembles Javier Baez at his worst. Energetic, promising, but with defensive miscues and inconsistent swings that cost more than they give. Bichette, meanwhile, mirrors Xander Bogaerts in his prime. A solid contact hitter, reliable, rarely faltering in big moments, and becoming a reference point within the lineup. That difference in profile isn't just statistical, it's psychological. A team that takes the field with Bichette at shortstop enters more confident. A team that fields Volpe today carries doubts. If the Yankees manage to land Bichette, the impact would be immediate. The defense would gain security. The lineup will become deeper, and the fans will have a new hero to believe in. If not, the franchise will face a winter of questioning. Perhaps betting once more on Volpe, hoping that adjustments to his swing and defensive positioning will bring improvement. But the truth is, in the Bronx, hope doesn't pay the bills, and patience doesn't last forever. In New York, either you deliver or you're replaced. What's at stake here isn't just the shortstop position, but the future of the franchise. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009, and for a team accustomed to greatness, that drought is nearly unbearable. Every season without a title is seen as failure, and every front office decision is magnified by that urgency. That's why the discussion around Bichette carries so much weight. He represents not only an upgrade for present, but also a signal that management is willing to do whatever it takes to return to the top. In the end, the question is simple yet profound. Who should be the Yankees shortstop in 2026? Anthony Volpe, the young man who might still come good, or Bo Bichette, the star ready to deliver now? That is a decision Boone, Cashman, and the entire organization will have to make. And in baseball, as in life, every decision has a price. The camera slowly pulls away from Yankee Stadium. The lights still shining, the crowd still roaring, and the doubt lingering in the air. It's the kind of uncertainty that defines franchises, that marks careers, and that may write the next chapter in the most scrutinized story in baseball. Because in New York, there is no room to wait. In New York, you are either a hero or you'll be forgotten.